Born in 1920, Alec Merriman was raised in the Fairfield area with a sister, brother, and 2 dogs. His father, Tom, was in the newspaper business. Foul Bay Beach was Alec's summertime playground during the 1920s. Rowing around the bay was his idea of fun. In the 30s, he'd venture out fishing between Trial Island and Clover Point, using hand lines for salmon or spearing rockfish for supper. He graduated from Vic High just before the war began and enlisted shortly thereafter. As a quartermaster, he supplied new recruits with gear, initially here at home, then in Britain and France. While overseas, he met a young Welsh lady named Taffy, who was in the Royal Air Force and figured she'd make a great fishing partner. They married, honeymooned in London during the Blitz, and began their family before D-Day. With his war bride, Alec returned home and followed his dad into the newspaper business, writing the sports pages and fishing reports for the Daily Times. He also became the island events editor, and with Taffy at his side, began to explore every little nook and cranny of our island. Back then, almost anything beyond the highway from Victoria to Courtenay was wilderness. You had to take a gravel road to get to places like Port Alberni and Jordan River, and many smaller towns and ports were reachable only by logging roads that were mostly closed to the public. For 8 years, the Merrimans wrote about their adventures as they explored those back roads in their VW camper van. In the 1950s, Alex spearheaded a campaign to get a road pushed through from Port Alberni to Tofino. The road was completed in 1959, opening up the rugged beauty of Long Beach to surfers, campers, and hippies. It was another 13 years before the road was paved. Back then, you could drive on the beach. By then, Alec had joined the Daily Colonist and had worked most news beats, including politics and police. He also served as city editor. He was a member of the Legislative Press Gallery and editor of the award-winning Weekend Islander. He used the newspaper to successfully push logging companies to allow public use of mainline logging roads. That opened up 300 kilometers of logging roads, and that provided a big boost for towns like Port Hardy and Zabelis. Places like Cape Scott were now within reach, but the last stretch was still a tough slog. Backroads travelers were often dismayed by some of the logging practices they encountered. The companies responded positively, though, and even built camping areas at the more popular spots. In 1960, Alec organized the first of what would become one of our island's most anticipated annual events, the King Fisherman Contest. Alec also wrote his popular outdoors column in the field, covering camping, fishing, conservation, recreation, and boating. Fishermen who followed his newspaper catch results and weekly hidden weight prize winners from 100 island weigh-in stations knew Alec as Mr. King Fisherman and based their fishing strategy on his weekly reports. In 1973, he established his first logging road travel book, which featured mile-by-mile maps to guide backroaders around the South Island. Alec and Taffy also helped spearhead the acquisition and planning of several provincial parks here on the island, including Sprout Lake, Rathtrevor, and Miracle Beach. Alec was a big supporter of the Salmonid Enhancement Program and championed the 1976 opening of the island's first hatchery on the Big Qualicum River. From their numerous backroad trips and their catalog of mile-by-mile notes, the Merrimans published 7 do-it-yourself books covering logging road travel, fishing, and outdoor adventures here on Vancouver Island. Through his career, Alec mixed with scores of prominent politicians, celebrities, and even royalty. After 32 years in the newspaper business, Alec retired in 1985 to do more of what he liked best, fishing and exploring the outdoors. He visited the Queen Charlotte Islands, now Haida Gwaii, where his Kingfisher lady and secretary Sherry Smith showed him how it's done. And at Rivers Inlet, he held his own with highliners like Bruce Colgrave and Charlie White. Alec also found time to indulge in a number of hobbies throughout his career, including photography, raising rabbits, beekeeping, and training a champion black lab retriever named Little Joe. Over the years, Alec Merriman received a raft of awards and accolades, including being named a lifetime member of the Victoria Fish and Game Club. For his decades of helping all of us discover, explore, and enjoy our island's great outdoors, we are pleased to induct into the Greater Victoria Sports Hall of Fame Victoria's consummate outdoorsman, Alec Merriman.